Hello, hello.
Hi.
Good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning.
Y comienza. No, la rótula. No.
Hello, Mariana. How you doing?
Hello. I'm here.
Perfect, perfect. We have been talking on WhatsApp, ¿verdad? This morning.
I'm sorry. This morning, yes.
Yes, ¿verdad? Sí, sí eras tú. Okay, okay, okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay, sorry. I think I took a little bit, a few more drops of CBD in the morning, so I'm kind of too relaxed. But so yes, it was you. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Alrighty. So tell me, how was your week?
Very sweet.
Sorry, Marina?
No, that with a lot of stress. Yeah. And you?
Why is that?
Well, because my work and everything. And all the stuff that we have
your
to
work?
do. Yeah.
What stresses you in your work? I mean, it might be a very obvious question, but
Well,
for example,
I have to do some works and I have to give the grades. How do you, some meetings with parents by Meet.
oh. Yeah, parents tend to stress teachers.
Yeah.
Believe me. Back in my day, back in my day when I was young and beautiful, we still have some sort of respect, like escucha tu maestro. But nowadays, no.
No.
We don't have any respect. So yeah, that's something that you're gonna have to cope, especially the ones like you that teaches elementary and teenagers maybe. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I know at City, her she stresses because her boss is a pain in the butt. He's a very maldito guy, but that's okay. She was for me, and she starts this Monday to teach, right?
No, 22nd.
Oh, the 22nd. Okay, I thought it was Monday. I need to check with Anna because Claudia, the one that you are replacing, that was her last class yesterday.
Anna told me that 22nd.
Yeah, you better check with that. Check with her, please.
Okay.
Yeah, check with her because I believe she might have made a mistake. Anyways, Giovanni, how you doing?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. How was your week, Giovanni?
Good. I'm start to have students. If for Zoom by Zoom, and it's okay. I think that's okay. It's a basic level for kids, and I feel fine. I think it's great.
Perfect. You're teaching with your sister? I mean, your sister's school?
Yes, in the school, yes.
Great, perfect. All right, excellent. So it's working out. Perfect. All righty. Okay, so Azucena, if you can manifest, and Anai, turn your cameras on. It will be cool. Mariana, you sneeze. You
Yes,
okay?
but I don't have COVID. I just sneeze.
Okay, yeah. Y ahorita tenemos miedo de todo, ¿ah?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. Cuscus. Let me open the file. Hold on. Yes. Todavía no se descartar. No. Iniciar. Finalizar. All right. Okay, diapositivas, iniciar. Yes. I'm going to share my screen. Not if you see it. You see my screen?
Yes, we
Yes,
can see.
cool, perfect. All right, so today we will talk about a very maybe basic topic, but it's fundamental topic, okay? And it's fundamental because it's the traditional way of teaching dictates that the way that we correct students, it should be mandatory. Okay, it means this, like if you remember your colleague teachers that you say, hey, I made a mistake, y así hasta te daban el zape, ¿no? Or correct this, or change that, or in English teaching, or let me paraphrase it, in language teaching, you can't do that. Okay, you can't do that because if you, well, you're not supposed to hit the students, even though we want to, but you can't hit the students. But if a student makes a mistake, there are certain techniques that you need to follow, otherwise it's going to backfire you. And that's what I'm saying I'm telling you that this is a very fundamental topic, because for this matter, many students go through primaria, through university, and still in a stupid basic one. They don't advance because they are too afraid of speaking English, because of being traumatized, by teachers, or because they don't feel comfortable with English. Let's discuss that in a moment, okay? So pay attention to this topic. It's a very important one. This is called error correction. Okay. Basically, if you see the boxes here, basically these are the questions or the steps to follow when we correct a student. When we are about to correct a student, we need to ask ourselves, when should we correct? And maybe Claudia says, what do you mean? So there are some times we don't correct. Exactly. There's some times that you don't correct. Okay. When should we correct? How should we correct? And what we do after we correct our students. Okay. So far so good. Hello, Grace. Good morning. Tienes cara de que necesitas un café. I have mine.
Sí. Okay, good.
And this one has Power Me, which is ginseng something de que te da energía. No es bueno para solteros, de eso te lo digo, pero te despierta. Anyways, before going there, we need to understand that in English, because only in English and in Spanish we don't have that. In English, we have two different concepts: error and mistake. Okay, we need to understand two premises. Number one, mistakes are good things, and students need to know that they are. Why? Why is it important for a student to realize that he is going to make a mistake? No, I'm going to be calling on people. Claudia, why do you think a student needs to know that mistakes exist and he or she will make a mistake at some point in his life or her life?
Because we commit mistakes all times in life, and obviously when we are learning a language, it's obvious that we're gonna fall many times because we are still learning. And in the even though when we learn, when we feel that we learn, we're gonna commit mistakes.
There is,
In Spanish, we do.
sorry, who said that?
In Spanish, we
In
in
Spanish,
Spanish
what?
we do. In
Yes.
Spanish,
Yes, yesterday or day before I was reading or listening, I don't remember, in Facebook, and the woman said, you learn more from failure than success. You know, ya sabes, ¿no? Las TED talk, you know, las vamos a echarle ganas y blah, blah, blah. But it's true. If a student doesn't realize that there are mistakes, he is going to feel miserable. His self-esteem is going to drop up, and consequently, English, he's going to hate English. All right, so students are students. Even us as a teachers, we make mistakes, yes or no? So yes, mistakes exist and they're good, because then you learn from the mistakes, even though it sounds like a cliche, right? But yes, you learn from the mistakes. O como decía mi madre, para que se te quite lo. All right, so error versus mistake, two different concepts. Can you read the first point, Chema?
An error reflects the competence of the learner, whereas a mistake refers to a performance error that is either a random guess or a slip.
Okay, so an error is a competence of the learner. For example, if I ask Azucena, hey, can you tell me the elements of a rocket to go to the moon? She's going to make mistakes. She's going to tell me, if she attempts to tell me the concept and the items, it will be all wrong. Yes or no? Why? Because she
absolutely wrong.
Exactly, because she doesn't know. It's not her competence. So far, so good? You cannot correct errors. Why? Why you can? O sea, ¿por qué no me puedo enojar y decirle a Azucena, ay, ¿en serio no sabes? ¿No me vas a decir de verdad?
Because the student is learning.
Because she doesn't know. Okay, so maybe Mariana says, oh, that teacher is obvious, but sad to say, teachers, and this is like the core of this topic, teachers assume students know, and teachers expect more from students. Ya sabes, ¿no? El típico Kool-Aid teacher. Today is present progressive. Y se voltea y dice, do you know what present progressive is? Don't do that. They don't know. They're students. So never assume they know. Never correct something that they don't know. Okay, I'll give you another example. Maybe Giovanni says, okay, classwork, an essay, you understand essay? Writing task, 400 words about the evolution of insects without researching. If Giovanni, it's a biochemistry or doctor or whatever they call it, and he knows and the students don't know, and he is evaluating the actual evolution of insects, what's going to happen to the students? Are they going to be correct or incorrect? That's it.
Incorrect.
Incorrect, because they don't know. And it would be very, very stupid from Giovanni to actually evaluate something that students don't know. Do you agree with me? Yes. Sad to say it happens. So no, don't assume that. On the contrary, read the last point, please, yourself, Atsiri.
While mistakes can be self-correct, an error cannot be self-correct.
So mistakes are slips in the sense of, I know, but I made a mistake. You're teaching simple present. I am, you are, he is, she is, blah, 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 blah. And then Fabiola says, I are. That's a mistake or an error after you have taught it. Ivan? If I have taught verb to be, I am, he is, she is, and then I ask Fabiola to repeat, and she is like, I are, would that be an error or a mistake?
Mistake.
A mistake, exactly, because she knows, but she made a mistake. In that moment, then you correct. See what I mean? Because you have actually taught it, and then you can actually correct the slip or the mistake Fabiola, in this case, did. Okay? Yes? So far, so good? Okay, so 2 premises. Number 1, never assume students know. Students don't know. Students are students. Okay? And secondly, don't expect to evaluate something that you haven't taught. Let me repeat it. Don't expect to evaluate something that you haven't taught to your students. Hello, Rocio.
Hi.
Okay, all right, let's move on. Let me present to you. Let's watch a video. Let me just look for it. A ver, aquí está. Ah, no, es este. Let me open, and we're going to listen to a teacher talk about different strategies for no, Mariana, my internet is correct. So yes, sometimes you need to pay. I'm just kidding you.
Okay.
La cara de Mariana, teacher, mother of Sanaba. I'm just.
It's because sometimes I'm like, my internet is like, I heard you very stuck and everything is stuck.
Okay, no. Have you, no, es que está en Prime, en Amazon Prime, una serie que se llama Home Office, de los actores de, ¿se acuerdan de la película Mis Reyes contra Mis Godines o algo así? O Godines mientras Mis Reyes. Está muy, muy buena la serie. Y está uno que está, que siempre es el Conan, el que le hacen, que es el de barrio acá. Y cuando se le olvida entregar está en videoconferencia, y entonces está hablando y de repente se pone así. Ay, ya se le trabó otra vez. Pero nada, está haciendo choros. Okay, so, okay, here is a video. We're going to listen to this teacher and different techniques of error correcting. I want you to listen to the techniques and why he uses this, okay? Error correction. Aquí está, TKT. Error correction, yes. It's opening, eh?
Hello, my name's
share. Yes. Yes. Oh, wait.
Stephen's story from
Can you see?
teacher.com.
Can you see the video? Yes? Okay.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about error correction techniques that you can use in a classroom with English students. The aim of these error correction techniques is to get the students to self-correct, to notice their errors or to remind them of their errors, and sometimes to teach them about what they're doing wrong. Okay, they might make 5, 6 errors in the same sentence, so you always have to make a decision. You know, how many errors to correct, or whether to correct all of them. Okay, you might have, for example, in a sentence like, "Oh, Pablo, what'd you do this weekend?" "Dinner with your wife." Well, you have, you know, they might say dinner with your wife. Well, you have a pronunciation, your wife. And you might have a past simple error, Spanglish error, possessive adjective error, lack of a subject error. You have to work your way through this if you want to correct all of them. Okay, you might just come out and you reformulate. You know, no, you had dinner with your wife, and you can do this for the other students in the class. You can do it for the student. He'll notice the mistakes if he usually makes these mistakes. You can overreact with whose wife? With my wife. It's a bit of humor for the student. You can decide not to understand. Say, "Excuse me, what?" Give them a look, you know. Ask them to repeat, you know. If it's an ingrained error, you can say, you know, stretch the sentence out a bit. I think it needs to be longer, okay. If there's a third person error, not this case, you might say, "Hey, third person S," okay. To overdo it, you know, she go to the disco every Friday. She goes, okay. You might repeat the sentence up to the point that you wanted to correct, you know. So, dinner with wife, dinner with, you know, something like this. You can use your fingers, finger counting. Dinner with wife, you know, what's this? Possessive adjective. You can point out as possessive adjective. Dinner with my wife, okay, or your wife, my wife, whoever's wife. Well, then, you know, you could point out the Spanglish error. Spanglish error is in Spanish, cene, dinner is a verb, but in English it's not. So, or at least dine, you can dine, but not dinner. So, but what's the verb that goes with dinner? Have dinner, or have dinner. But we're talking about the past, yeah? This gesture, the past, not the future, not the present. You know, use these little gestures to demonstrate what you want to understand or whatever. So have dinner with. And the subject, I have dinner with. But the past, I had dinner with, okay? And you work through these things, okay? You might say something, "I went to the meeting market in my car," and the student says, "Oh, you're a car." Now, why is the student saying this? You know, you're not a car. You might say, "I am not a car, I'm a person," and give them a little humor and try to elicit the correct sentence, the correct structure. I think the reason they're using this is because they're regressing to an easier grammar form or easier structure because they're not really comfortable or they're not able to produce actively. They're not able to produce this present simple structure. So, okay. You are a car. You are a car, but it's a different verb. It's not are. It's you have a car. But what's the question? Do you need a subject? What's the subject? Or excuse me, what's the auxiliary? What's the auxiliary? Do you have a car? Okay, this is how you can work through it. Okay. If there's a question word, what? Why do you have a car? So you have Ozzy, auxiliary, subject, infinitive, auxiliary, do. Subject, you have, infinitive, or quasi, a question word. Do you have a car? Why do you have a car? Okay. You might say something like, "You are a teacher." Okay. And you get, "No. Are you? Or you say, "Are you," with the finger counting, are you teacher?" And they might say, no, turn it around. Are you are teacher. And you get them to practice this infinitive thing. You elicit that because in Spanish, they don't use these articles. So you get them to practice them because they'll learn them and then they'll never use them until you practice them for a while. So you can drill this, you know, are you pilot? Are you a pilot? Are you architect? Are you an architect? Engineer? Are you an engineer? And so on. They'll always say like not as big, not as is not big. And what's the subject? It is not big. And you can drill. It's not or it isn't. And you aren't, you're not, and so on. Okay. There are a lot of pronunciation errors you can correct with this thing, you know? Germany, not Germany. Sorry, money. Obstacles, not obstacles, because in Spanish they say obstáculos. Okay. You can act it up a bit. You can say, oh, I'm really sad about my new job. And you can say, oh, you're really sad. You can act it up a bit. They say big, small, tall, short, tired. And they might say something like, my English is short. You can use a song that you've taught them in class, that you've used in class. I don't know much English. You listen to the song, I don't know much. You might say people is, and say people are people. A large road, no, not the winding road. And don't be embarrassed by your poor singing skills because I'm not, and they won't be if you ain't learned something from it. You might say pronunciation, you might say coffee. I went to the coffee. It's cafe, 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 not coffee. Okay, and they might say Jew. No. You know. And oh, it's very nice. Now, very, you have to demonstrate with your mouth, okay? There, no, there, okay, there. And what do you want to do? No. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Practice this first when you show them in writing, you know? Some things are major leagues errors. They might say they want some piles because in Spanish it's pilas. They want some batteries, so they go to the shitty to buy some piles. That could be a real problem. Okay. Well, thank you for watching, and see you the next time on MadridTeacher.com. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Okay. A little. Oh wait. Okay. Can you hear me now? Yes, okay. Give me 1 minute. Somebody knock on the door. Hold on a second. Sorry, that was my how do you call it? My pet shop that delivers me the food for my dogs. Anyways, so we listened to this guy, and he gave several strategies. We discussed them in a moment. Lady, yeah, but he mentioned something at the beginning, that the purpose of these techniques is to what with the student, that the student is able to do what?
So me.
Yes, who said that? Claudia.
To make that the student has the ability to correct themselves.
Very good. Self-correct. That is your goal, teachers. Self-correction. Because we need to foster or what is the word? Promote our students to be autonomous. We're not going to be around our students, well, except for me, because my wife was my student, so that's a different story. But normally, you're not going to be next to your students correcting them. Ay, tu bebé, qué bonito. Niño, niña. Niño, okay. So, niño, very nice. I have mine here, but mine is a little bit different.
Thank you.
So anyways, self-correction, that's your goal as a teacher when errors and mistake comes into play. Now tell me one or two of the strategies that this teacher presented.
I saw something like he was, we have to show fingers to express grammar.
Very good. Very good. Show them the finger. I'm sorry, bad joke. Yes, but you are going to, yeah, the ones that live in the States know what I'm talking about. So use fingers. Why is it important to use fingers? Pointing, that's called pointing error. We're going to discuss it in a moment. It's visual. Remember the past classes, most of the students are visual. Okay, so when we assign gestures, it's called gestures. You understand gestures, the word gesturing? Gesturing, when you move your hands and stuff. When you assign gestures to concepts, students relate to it.
This is like Montessori.
With
Montessori, you give a meaning to a figure. So you're giving a meaning to your fingers. And I used to work at Quick Learning. I don't know if you know this school. We used to use this technique, and it's really good because, for example, when making questions with verb to be, you tell the students, okay, she is beautiful, and you apply you use your fingers, and you say she is beautiful. Okay, so to make a mistake, you have to switch this. Is she beautiful? So that's a really good correction technique, I think.
Very good. That's actually very good. Yeah, I know Quick Learning. Mine is better, but yes, no, just kidding. All right, so yes, when you assign to a concept a gesture, then on the future classes, you don't need to speak. That's the beauty part of it. You just move and say, okay, this is, I don't know, for my case, when I teach conditionals, this is if. So when a student is what? And so I go like this, if, okay, if. All right, and so forth. Very good. What other technique did you catch from this video? I know Grace is lost in the space, but she's she's still in bed. Ya mejor quitó la cámara. Gracias.
No, perdón, quería quitarme el mute. I was saying that he used again the hands to correct, hands in gestures, but with the face to correct pronunciation. And
very good. Facial gesturing, yes. No, yes, etc. Right? Gabby, sorry, you were going to say something.
Yes, of course. He used gestures to pronounce a lot of words, or some words. My partner says that.
Very good. Excellent. By the way, your English is becoming better. That's pretty cool. All right. So these are some of the techniques. Now, we are going to discuss now in the program some of the techniques to correct. Okay. Now, These techniques are in a chronological order. What does it mean? That you first start with one, and then if Juanito Perez, it's a stone and doesn't get it, you go to the next technique. And if Juanito Perez still doesn't get it, you go to the next technique. And if Juanito Perez is still stupid, you go to the next technique and so forth. Okay? So, but it's a chronological order. You go first one, and then two, and then three. All right, let me share my screen. Wait. Esto no está aquí. There we go. All right. You see my screen? Not if you see it? Cool, thanks. So this is the first technique. This is the first technique ever. Start with the question, what? Why? Can you read this? The first point, excuse me, please, Giovanni.
Start with the question, what? The student will immediately know there's something wrong with the statement she produced and will be open for help.
Exactly. What? And then she's going to look at you like, what? No. So, and then next one is Fabiola, are you here? Manifest.
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Long time
Okay,
no listen to your voice. Very nice.
Okay. At this point, you should wait for the student to correct him herself.
Thank you. Very good. At this point, you wait. Let me paraphrase it again. At this time, you wait for the student to correct. Give them some time. Okay? Again, so you ask a question, what? For example, Grace says, I are a teacher. So I say, what? And you can even exaggerate, no? What? So she can get that she made a mistake. And then you wait, even sometimes, don't be desperate. Yeah, I understand if you have like our dear teachers in SEP that have like 50 students, well, that's a whole different story. But yes, try to wait till the much time you can't, all right? But what if Grace looks at me and says, what? So then we move on to the next technique. And this is called pinpoint error correction. Can you read this, Azucena?
Yeah, sure. Pinpoint error location. If your student doesn't realize where the mistake is, try to guide him or her by repeating the statement yourself and stopping right before the missing or wrong word. E.g.,
Example?
Student, I went shopping now. Teacher, I went shopping what, when?
So if I ask Grace, what? And Grace is like, well, what, teacher? So then I go to give him a clue, give him a hint. I are or I am, or I are plural, or I and singular. I don't know, something to give him a clue. Okay, at this point, normally students, get it. If, the parentheses, I'm not supposed to say this, it's not in the program. In my experience, if a student at this point didn't get it, then it's your fault. Okay, because something in the lection didn't work out for the students. See what I mean? In other words, they didn't understand you. But let's let's suppose that Juanito Perez is very stupid and he didn't get it, only him. Okay, so if as this student doesn't know, then move on to the next technique. Use fingers. Show him the finger. Can you read this, Anaí, please?
Depends that your student is still confusing, forgetting a certain word, order, or tense. Use your fingers to show them the right syntax or missing extra word they need in their statement.
Thank you, Anaí. Very good. By the way, paréntesis, nos estuvimos texteando ayer, ¿verdad? ¿Tú eres la que ibas a tomar el preparáutico o no? No, okay, so, no es cierto, es Andrea, the other girl. Okay, thank you. So, use your fingers to the syntax. Remember this teacher, no? Do you, are you, and then you switch. So you select and then you switch. Everybody, sorry. Yes? Use fingers. Why is it important? Azucena said it, but can anyone emphasize on this one? By the way, ¿quién es ZT Blade? Manifest, si puede. O por lo menos ponga su nombre, por favor. ¿Nadie? Bueno. Ahí les pido de favor que se manifiesten. Si no, tendré que moverlos a la sala de espera, ¿va? Ah, ya puse tu cámara, perdón. Está bonito tu techo, pero ¿quién eres?
Perdón, soy Mariana, a lo mejor.
Ah, ok, Mariana, thank you.
Es que no pude entrar, perdón. No pude entrar, es que tengo problemas con mi lap.
Ah, ok, I'm sorry. No, that's okay. That's okay. Y perdón que sea así, lo que pasa es que ya de hecho hemos tenido problemas en Defero por esto, ¿eh?
Ah, sí, perdón, es que no puedo poner mi cámara ahorita bien porque me veo un poco, no me favorece mucho.
No, no te preocupes, con que sepamos quién eres, that's fine.
Ok.
Ok, sí, pues sí, ya tuvimos dos situaciones, unpleasant situations.
Sí,
So,
voy a tratar de que ahorita se está reparando.
Sí,
mi lap.
sí, está bien. Sí, con que ya sabemos quién eres, está bien. All right?
Gracias.
No problem.
Yes.
Okay, so if finger pointing didn't work, and Juanito Perez is still stupid, again, at my point, I believe that that's your fault. But anyways, let's believe that this student is really stoned. Then move on to the next technique, and this is called provide multiple choice. Can you read this, Claudia, please?
Provide multiple choice. This is an option for semi-modeling the right answer. Once you've tried the previous techniques and your student doesn't seem to self-correct, provide an easily logical multiple choice questions to activate your student's memory.
Example?
A student, I am an engineer. Teacher, A or N?
Very good. And you can even exaggerate. A ver. A or an? Right? So, an. Like emphasis on the correct word, on the correct, correct word. Now, this is after 4 techniques. I remember that it's a chronological order. Now, parenthesis, before the finger pointing, excuse me, after the finger pointing and before the multiple choice, it used to be another one that you can Google it, and it's called peer correction. Peer as a equals, no? Peer correction. We have to take it out because it's supposed to be bullying now. But you know, ya sabes, la generación de cristal. But you can Google it, and if you know your students, that's actually cool. And this works like this. For example, if I ask at Siri, and I ask at Siri what, at Siri is lost in the space, then I use the fingers, and at Siri is like what, I don't know, the fingers, blah, blah, blah. So then I asked Chema, okay, Chema, tell me can you help at City? So then Chema will answer the question. That's peer correction. Okay, you can Google it and it's like millions and millions of pages about it, but it's considered now bullying. Okay, because of así de Chema si pudo, and sometimes teachers had their favorite ones and the ones that hate you, ¿no? Así como que, ay, Atsiri, de veras, a ver, Chema, por favor, hijo, échale ganas, ¿no? Enséñale.
Peer
So, yes.
correction is, sorry. Peer correction is like to find out a leader, something like that.
Yes, you will, obviously, Rocio and everybody, obviously, you will call on the one that you know knows the answer. And normally that is a leader. Normally it's a pen in the butt. And normally everybody hates that person. Okay. So that's why it's risky. Yes, it is risky. I love it. I love it. I used to do it a lot, but now it's considered bullying. Okay, so we take it out. But yes, you can if you know the students, if you know your group, and you know that they aguantan vara, well then you can use it. Okay. So then multiple choice answer, and didn't work. Still Juanito Perez stupid. All right. So then you move to the last technique. And this is the last resource for you. And this is called model or modeling in another books. Okay, can you read this, please, Grace?
Model. After you've gone through all of the correction techniques explained before, and your student still fails to understand his or her mistake, provide a straightforward correction and have him integrate these words to the statement. This should be your last resort.
Resource, sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
De vacaciones.
I know.
Student, she works at home. Teacher, she works at home. Repeat.
And this goes with asape. You know? So, but listen to what the Grace just read. After you have gone through all the techniques, this is your last resource. This is like the last technique you should do. In other words, given the answer is your last resource for the student. Why is that?
You have to make them think by themselves, as you said since the beginning, no?
Okay, to make them think, yes.
Also, I don't know if it has been the same always, but at least at college, it's better, the students remember better when they find out their own mistakes. So they are more aware of what are the flaws, like como sus fallas, and next time they are aware of that.
Very good. They will remember better, like Grace said. Susana?
Yeah, basically because teacher modeling is just giving answers. Students are not learning anything.
Can you repeat, Susana? Hold on a second, it's because llegó tu mamá, Grace, y están, pero si bien... Hey. Espérame, tantito.
No problem.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. Es que llegó tu hermano, Grace, y lo desconocieron mis perros, pero bueno, ya, lo saqué.
Kirsten, I got a question.
Yes.
I got a question between number, the second step and the fourth. The second is give them a hint, and the fourth is provide multiple choice. So I cannot see a big difference between one and the other.
This one and the last one?
The second to give them a hint, that is give them a hint. And the number 4 to provide multiple choice.
Yes.
So can you
Look,
give me
look
a
at the
small
example,
difference?
Rocio. Look at the example. It says, student, I went shopping now. Teacher, I went shopping. What, when? The teacher didn't give the answer. You see the answer? It would, modeling, Rocio, sería así.
No,
¿Vale?
it's not the one modeling, it's okay. The question is between provide multiple choice and give them a hint or a clue.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, it's the same one.
No, it's not the same. Given a clue, it's guiding them, correct? Provide choice, multiple choices, you give them a multiple answer. It's different.
Sure. Okay.
Sí, por
Can
ejemplo,
you
aquí.
give me an example with give them a hint?
Yes. For example, this example. I went shopping now. The answer is, I went shopping yesterday. Yes or no? Rocio?
Yes, vocabulary in past, of course.
Okay, good. I went shopping yesterday. The student said now instead of yesterday, yes?
Okay.
Okay, so then you don't say, I went shopping today or yesterday. That would be multiple choice.
It's the same. Well, you are still making them think, right?
So in this case, you tell them, exactly, you tell them a question to make them think. I went shopping when?
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Can you repeat what you said, Azucena? Because my dogs went crazy and I couldn't listen.
Yeah, don't worry. I was saying that about modeling, teacher modeling is just giving the answer to the student. So this doesn't make sense if the students need to learn, are there to learn. So I consider this as the best option for the last resource, as you said. And teacher modeling is just giving answers, and it's the easiest way for teachers. I mean, it's the easy life, but but students are not learning anything.
That's the point. Listen to me. If you model, in other words, if you give them the answer, you make your students lazy. You make them slackers. Ah, pues al fin que ahorita me dice. ¿Cómo era, Miss? ¿Me dice cómo era aquí? Aquí que le pongo es este, ¿verdad? All of that is modeling. In other words, give them the answer. Don't do that. Let them think. Otherwise, really, students become lazy. Okay? So, now emphasis, teachers. For some reason, in the mystery of humankind, modeling is the first option to most of teachers. Don't do that. First of all, why do you think is that? Why do you think teachers prefer this at the beginning to model or to give the answer?
Because teachers can places too. Probably they don't want to have any trouble with answering and all the steps. I think.
Yes. ¿En quién no dijo que no quieren batallar, Gaby?
Me, Claudia.
Yes,
They
Claudia, Gaby.
They don't want to work to the students and they don't need the student to speak English. That's all.
Thank you. In other words, and let me paraphrase it, they don't care. If a teacher does this, from my viewpoint as a coordinator, if I'm observing classes and I'm observing a teacher and this teacher does that, that means that this teacher doesn't care for the students. That this teacher is a slacker. So you have to go through the whole thing. Okay, and this is going to be your last resource. Okay, and again, as I said it, in my experience, ojo, no está en el programa, in my experience, after this one, and in this one maybe, if the student doesn't get it, it's your fault. Something that you didn't in the presentation or you did wrong in the presentation. Normally, a student gets it at the first what. Okay? All right, very good. Questions? No? So conclusions. Some teachers correct every mistake by their made by students. Other teachers rarely or never correct mistakes. Both approaches have few weaknesses. What are the problems? Can you read the penultimo point, Ivan?
Yes, the first one leads to students' nervousness and, as a consequence, lack of fluency.
Ya sabes, ¿no? El Kool-Aid teacher que está así. Just observing if you make a mistake. Poor students like, oh my God, ahora que digo, ¿no? And the last one, Claudia.
No puedo ver. Let me, hold on.
Can I read? Okay.
The second one leads to students to speak about whose English is hard to understand.
Yes. This, I've seen this case too. A student that is overconfident and he speaks a very bad English. Yeah? Both are very serious mistakes. So, oh wait. So son las 11. You want to take a people break before moving on?
Yes, I'm starving.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Me too.
All righty. So okay, so let's take a break. So it's 11:05 according to my watch. So we meet here at 11:20.
Okay.
That's okay, teacher.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. See you around. I'm leaving the session open. Ready, guys? Oh, wait, still 2 minutes. Ah, sorry.
Yes, sure, don't worry.
Ready?
Ready, guys?
Ready.
Perfect. Excellent. All right, let me share my screen. All right. So the conclusions. This is like the summary of the topic, okay? First point, can you read it, please, Azucena?
Yeah, sure. Conclusions. Let me move this a little. Okay. When a student makes a mistake, it is usually counterproductive to say, no, that's wrong. Are you serious? How long did you say you've been studying English? Etc. It is often kinder to say not bad, nearly, good try, that's an interesting mistake, etc.
Thank you very much. Even though we love to say this type of comments, especially me, that is, I'm a very sarcastic person. I'm like, okay, ¿de verdad hablas inglés, miss? You know, things like that. Or if a student at City, really, ya estás en nivel 4, caray, hombre. Don't say that. Don't say those type of comments to students. Okay? On the contrary, be kinder. In other words, be kind to your students. Why is this important? You know, aparte de la parte de politeness, why is it important to be kind with students and avoid sarcastic comments and negative comments?
Because they can feel comfortable and they will have the, how do you say, they will be confident with you when they don't understand something, or yeah, they are going to be closer to you if you're kind.
Exactly, simple as that. If you're kind, that means that you're approachable. Let me repeat the word, approachable. You need to be approachable for your students. In other words, students should feel open to approach you for correction. Okay? Otherwise, they won't, and consequently, they're not going to learn English. All right? Number 2 point is the Anaí.
Some say that you shouldn't laugh at the students' mistakes, but it sometimes breaks the mistakes taboo and make linguistic risk and disasters an acceptable part of the classroom culture.
Very good. Don't laugh at them, but laugh with them. Now, it's important to have a relaxed atmosphere, especially if you make a mistake, because you're going to make a mistake. That's life. That's human. So if you have 2 options, you make a mistake and then you will have 2 options. Either you get angry and frustrated, or just laugh about it. What would be the consequences of being frustrated and angry if you make a mistake?
Students might quit learning English. They might feel like stupid, and they wouldn't have the confidence to approach to you and solve problems or doubts.
Very good, Azucena. Now, Azucena, what if you make a mistake? You have 2 options, being frustrated, angry, or just laugh about it. What would be the consequences of both?
What if I make a mistake, like the teacher?
You as a teacher, because everything starts with the teacher.
I normally laugh, and I normally tell them, you know what, my mistake, nobody's perfect, and I correct it, and that's it.
Yeah. What would happen if you get angry and frustrated?
I'm gonna close the door for them to get to know me and to get to approach to me, and because I'm supposed to be the one who knows and who's sharing the knowledge.
Very good. Now raise your hand whether virtually or physically, the one that is still a student. It doesn't have to be English student, you know, student in general. Ivan, okay, Ivan. So tell me honestly, if you're sitting and listening to your teacher, any subject, you're listening to a teacher, and this teacher makes a mistake and then gets frustrated and angry, what are you attempt to do? And be honest.
Well, normally when when that happens, we always correct him or her, and then after that, we when the class finishes, we always gossiping about him or her. But normally we correct him or her.
Yeah, and not in a nice way. And even if the teacher gets frustrated and angry, boys and girls, students are mean.
Very mean.
They will eat you up. Y no sabe, mis. Y se equivocó, mis. Y eso que es el maestro, mis. Right? So no, foster relaxed atmosphere. Laugh about it. Like I personally say, and the students know and repeat what I say. I personally say, a ver, o sea, although I'm almost perfect and extremely sexy, I make mistakes. And everybody laughs because I'm not. I'm not extremely sexy. So everybody laughs and, you know, is joking and you break the ice. But never get angry. It's going to be bad for your self-esteem. So next point, Giovanni. Number 3.
The ability to correct themselves when they make a mistake is important. One, for students to develop, encourage it and give them time to correct themselves.
Give them time, okay? Number 4 is the city.
Once they've done the correction, have students repeat the statement again in order to integrate their correction to their learning process. This last step is very important.
Once they have answered and self-correct, then you can give them feedback. Then you can repeat the correction. Allá viste, Juanito Pérez? So it's like this. So they can register in their mind. Next one, Chema.
It's much better for the students if they get into the habit of listening to themselves when they are speaking and correct themselves as they go along. Obviously, they won't be able to correct all the mistakes they make, but they will be able to correct a lot of them.
If you have the chance, ask for homework to record themselves and then ask them to listen to their recording voice, you know, recorded voice. If you know your students, you can exchange the audios and let them revise themselves. Remember the homework that only 5 or 6 people gave to me about the different types of learning strategies, about the videos that you did? Remember that? Okay, so how do you feel about it? Let's say, Grace, you were the last one to give it to me. This is the last week's homework.
How do I feel about what?
Yeah, how did you feel when you listen to yourself?
It's something that I still do because every time I have a comment or any kind of assignment in English, I always record myself and try to listen my pronunciation. So when I do it, I can identify my mistakes, my normal mistakes, and the mistakes I make when I'm nervous. So
you're used to it?
Yeah, I always do it.
Okay, so you're the exception. So you're the geek or the nerd of the class. That's a whole different story. Can any normal student answer to me, please? Let's say Gabby. Oh, excuse me, Claudia. Claudia, you send me. Claudia's here? No. Mariana.
Yes, I'm here, teacher, but I'm eating. Sorry.
Claudia, how do you feel yourself when you listen to yourself last week's homework?
I feel pretty good.
Okay. Did
I
you
don't know what
learn
you mean.
something?
Yes. For me?
Did you learn something?
Yes. The different kinds of learning. Yes, I feel that I learned something.
Okay, so you enjoy the activity.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so your students will also enjoy it. So do it. Okay? Give this type of activities to your
Okay.
students. And finally, Gabi.
I feel when I hear myself that I need to prepare more because I don't have a lot of elements to teach and others. That's why I am taking these classes because I am not I'm not prepared to teaching another person.
Okay. Well, okay. You mentioned about, yeah, because you gave me your homework in private. Yes. Well, parenthesis, Gabi, and everybody, if the ones that have met Gabi like a couple of months ago, your English have improved a lot since the day you started the course. Your English has become better, so it's pretty cool. All right, who can read the last point? Let's see, Rocío.
As far as possible, correct mistakes anonymously. Do this by making notes of students' mistakes as you monitor them, putting them on the board later depends on the type of drill.
Very good, excellent. In other words, don't pick on students. Even though we want to, because we will have our favorite ones, and then we will have the ones that we hate. Even though we want to pick on the ones that we hate, don't do that. Try to give feedback anonymously. For example, in a conversation activity, in a communicative activity, in a pair work, you listen to them, and then you write down the mistakes, and then at the end, you correct the mistakes to everybody. What would happen? Even you can even see your students' faces. Así era.
What I used to do is to that what you mentioned already is to form two groups in the students and write down all the errors, and they have to know where the error is. So it functions a lot.
Yeah, it does. It does. Very good. It depends on the drill, no? Sometimes you have to be very straightforward. Okay, cool.
Harrison, can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course. Yes, go ahead.
It's because sometimes when my students are reading and I am recording them, I don't know what to do because they are reading and I correct them some mistakes. For example, when they are reading, if they say, I don't know, play, and it's play, I say play. I don't know if it's corrected. I correct them at the moment, or I have to do it later, but later it's too late, so I don't know what to do.
Okay, guys. Mariana has asked a very cool question. Comments. What do you think?
I think, teacher.
Who said that?
Me, Claudia.
Claudia.
I think we can write down all the words that they cannot pronounce correctly. And after the reading, we can do an exercise just with the words that they cannot pronounce correctly. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's one option. But before, bueno, Azucena and Longavi, but before that, there are two scenarios, right, Mariana?
Yeah.
About one scenario is when they having a conversation activity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second scenario is when you are eliciting questions, you're giving questions, and they answering in a correct way, correct?
Well, I say when they are reading, for example, I'm presenting the book, and comes I don't know, a reading, and then they have to read, for example, Paco, please read this, and Paco is reading, and he has a lot of mistakes. So at the moment, I don't know what to do.
Okay, let me ask you some questions before. This is reading to the class or in a pair activity?
In a class.
Okay, so reading for the class. Okay. Question, and this is a very tricky question. Do they know the vocabulary?
Sometimes, well, it's because it's a reading. We don't have to check each vocabulary because the vocabulary was before all the vocabulary keys, or I don't remember, with the box is when the unit is starting. So we check first the vocabulary words, but are another kind of words. I mean, it's just a reading. I don't know if I was clear.
Yes, I have the answer or my observation, but I don't want to say anything until I listen to the most of you. Yes, okay, Mariana? Yes, okay. So Gaby, pardon, Azucena, and then Gaby.
Thanks. I think it has to do with the lesson objective. I mean, you cannot be, that's my point of view. You cannot be correcting each word when students are reading, especially in a reading class. And it depends on the lesson objective. If the lesson objective is for them to read fluently, you have to keep it going. I mean, they are making mistakes, yes, but they are learning. They need to be confident. And what I normally do is divide the text or the text or the story by paragraphs. So I correct paragraph by paragraph. I mean, if Juanito read the first paragraph and he had 3 mistakes, but certain mistakes, not words that we already knew, then I tell him, you know, the pronunciation of this word or the intonation is this and this and this. Can you please do it again? And then the others start realizing how to read, and it becomes like a snowball. So they all come realizing what to do. I don't know if I made myself clear.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Gaby.
Thanks. I wait to finish the student reads. And then in the video, we saw that one option is to write literally the pronunciation of the words. And I write the word, then he has the mistake, and then I read it and write the literal pronunciation. I think this is the form to teach a good form English.
Okay, again. Thank you, Gaby. Me cae, Gaby, que te voy a hablar al rato y te voy a hacer una entrevista porque cómo has mejorado de cuando entraste. My respects, my respects. Very good. Okay, both. Anyone else wants to put in? No? Okay. So, yes, Azucena and Gaby, you know, they're right. Okay, so you, Mariana, you will actually wait until the end. I would suggest that, especially if this a pair one-to-one activity or is for the class, because otherwise it knocks out the flow. But Azucena also has one good point. What is your purpose of the reading? Okay, now my observation, Mariana, is it goes to the first slide. When you need to correct, do they know or they don't know the pronunciation? My point being, you're given Juanito Perez is reading a paragraph, and then he finds out a word that he didn't know. Okay, see the scenario? What would happen? What could happen most likely when he reads the word that he doesn't know? What do you think, Mariana?
I have to give them, or I have to help to Juanito.
Because he doesn't know. And most likely he will make a mistake. Excuse me, he will make an error. Because he doesn't know. In that case, you teach them as different from error correction. You teach them. Yes, who said that? Claudia.
Me. Sometimes, well, is what to me happened. What happened to me. Sometimes when we are reading at the school, sometimes we're boring. So we try to make longer the reading just to echar a perder la clase. You know what I mean? Sometimes they know how to pronounce the words, but they just plain.
Yes. I know what you mean. That's a whole different story. That's discipline and group control. Yeah, that's a whole different story. But let's say that Juanito Perez is actually innocent. So if Juanito Perez doesn't know the word, Mariana, by all means, give him the answer. It's not error correction. He doesn't know. If Juanito Perez, if you one day before or even in the same class, you have given the vocabulary and then you practice the vocabulary, y ya sabes, this is a backpack, repeat, backpack, computer, repeat, computer, blah, 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 blah. And then in the reading, Juanito Perez reads backpack como backpack. That's a whole different story. Then that is a mistake. Then you will go through the whole thing. What? A ver, ¿cómo, Juanito? Can you repeat, Juanito? Okay, tell me, Juanito, it's A or U? I don't know. But you go through the whole techniques. But everything starts, Mariana, if you know, I mean, don't assume that he knows or doesn't know. See my point? Because if they don't know, pues no saben. Y no te puedes enojar con ellos porque no saben. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm being too obvious, Mariana, and this is for everybody, because for real, I've seen through my 20 years of English teaching that teachers assume for some reason y hasta se enojan. Ay, es que tú no sabes nada. Dude, they're students. Okay? So, you know, ya nos vamos a otro tema muy diferente. For example, the ones that, no está aquí Rosario, no, pero no sé, who's teaching in a private school, elementary or secundaria, no sé, tú. Okay, Mariana, Susana. So they don't have it by levels. And that is very difficult. That's a whole different story. And I'm sorry about that, Azucena, but that you have to do it.
In my case, it's a bilingual school, and one of my students, she understands almost everything, but well, she understands everything, but when she reads like very weird. I don't know. She eats the words. Even she reads very, very weird, and sometimes she jumps some sentences or lines, or I don't know, phrases, and I don't know. I yes, it's complicated.
It would be interesting, Mariana, if you, just for the fun of it, no es así como que mandatory, just for the fun of it, ask that student in particular reading Spanish. And maybe it's a reading educational pedagogical, I don't know what the name is, problem. Just for the fun of it. A ver, Juanita Pérez, can you read this in Spanish? Ya lo escuchas y ya te das cuenta.
Actually, I have to be honest. I don't want to sound like bad or I don't know, but I wasn't. It's because it's only to share. It's only to share my experience.
Yes.
Is because I was working in another school that maybe the level was not the highest, but I was in working in a Catholic school, so they gave me a lot of courses and a lot of stuff, and their level in Spanish was excellent because they got a lot of I don't remember the word, contest. They were and everything. And right now that I am in a bilingual that I am in a bilingual school, I noticed that they are focusing a little bit in English, but Spanish is abandoned, or I don't know the word, but that Spanish is not a good support. So maybe, as you said, that's the problem.
There you go. Just do it for the fun of it. And then you would discover it if it's you English or Spanish or the whole different story. If the student reads in a bad way in Spanish, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different issue. And that's not your fault. Okay. So Azucena, you were going to say something just before moving on?
Yeah, sorry. As a teacher in a private school, an elementary, bilingual, bicultural, by everything, you can face many problems as dyslexia and many neurological problems with students. So it's not your fault. Relax. Do your best, and if they catch it, that's good. You are not in charge of those things.
Yeah, that's a whole different story. All right, before moving on, because some of you need to leave.
Thank you.
I like to no, thank you, Marina. I like to take the selfie for today. So Karen, if you can turn your camera on, that will be cool. Gabi, Fabiola, manifest.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Nice. 1, 2. Thanks. All right, perfect. Excellent. By the way, Karen, this is your first class, ¿verdad? Karen? Creo que se fue Karen.
First class, and I feel so excited, but too nervous.
Are you nervous? No, be nervous. Digo, I know we are almost perfect and extremely sexy, but don't be nervous. I mean, we have a cara de ogro, pero no somos. So tell us.
Okay. Mane?
Where are you from?
From Chihuahua.
Chihuahua, nice. We're part of Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Into the city of Chihuahua, or what city?
No, it's like Ciudad Cuauhtémoc and then La Junta. So I live in La Junta, but in the state of Chihuahua.
Nice. So we have a norteño group. Claudia is from El Entronque, and Rocio is from Chihuahua, but lives in Pachuca because of her husband. My mother is from Chuchupa. She was from Chuchupa.
Okay.
Chuchupa se hizo famoso por Omar Chaparro. De hecho, mi abuela decía, yo conozco a los Chaparro. Guadalajara, Guadalajara es donde se dan los hombres, ¿verdad? Pero unos con otros, no es cierto. Anyways, and then I lived in Casas Grandes for like 2 years. So I know Cuauhtemoc. I don't know La Junta, but I visited Ciudad Cuauhtemoc a couple of times.
Okay, it's a little downtown.
Yeah, well, we have a Norteño group. That's pretty cool. My mother would have loved it. Actually, you can see my mother. She's over there in the chat.
Okay.
Anyways, okay, so okay, let's move on. The next topic, it has to do with TKT Module 3. We're going to go through it very quick because we don't have it right now and we don't know when we'll have it. It's called seating arrangement and seating classroom management. Okay, it has to do with the configuration or the arrangement of the chairs. We don't have that. And I don't know when we'll have it. According to AMLO, dice que vamos a regresar en este mediados de año. La neta es que no sabemos. But it's important for us to study it when we come back to a one-on-one classroom, okay? All right, so I'm going to go very fast. And I'm going to be sending this through the WhatsApp so you can have it for later references, okay? Sitting and classroom management. Okay, so classroom arrangement and management. Can you read the first point, Karen? Please.
Okay, I'm lost. What is that number?
When it says an effective arrangement.
Okay. Okay. An effective arrangement has an impact on classroom discipline and the effectiveness of instructions.
Thank you. Pause there. Everybody agrees with that? Yes, everybody agrees with that, right? Again, now we have Zoom, so everybody has the same configuration. But in an actual physical classroom, the way you arrange the chairs impacts and the way of teaching and the way of learning. Okay? Teachers should be able to get around the classroom quickly and frequently. Either you work the crowd or the crowd works you. All right? So one correct room arrangement doesn't exist. Continue reading at City.
It will depend on the dimensions of that classroom. According to Fred Jones, the best room arrangement is a room with wide walkways where it allows a teacher to get around freely.
Very good. Or for example, when Cambridge en el TKT, por eso está muy lento ahorita, because the ones that we apply TKT we are instructed to have 1 point meters head to head. O sea, 1 point meters al frente, atrás, derecha, izquierda. So if we have 15 students, we will have a very big classroom. Okay. Now with the pandemic, we need to have 2 meters. 2 meters in front, back, red and right. So it's even bigger classroom. So it depends on the dimensions of the classroom. A good classroom seating arrangement is the cheapest form of classroom management. Quick tips. Number 1, Mariana.
Yes, quick tips. Use students' talkativeness as a strength. Place the most outgoing students in different groups, so they can lead the group in a positive way.
O sea, in other words, the one that talks a lot.
How do you pronounce talkativeness?
Sorry, who said that? Mariana, yes.
Talkativeness, do you pronounce it?
Yes, talkativeness. The ones that talks a lot, that means it's that has a, you know, that particular person that talks a lot.
Like me.
Ya, o como me decía, como le decía yo a los maestros, maestro, yo hablo con todos, donde me ponga, but that's a whole different story. Okay, so if the one that talks a lot, move it with the ones that don't talk a lot. Okay, continue reading, Chema.
Try to give students some choice in their seating arrangement. Have them give you a list of 6 students they'd like to sit with. This way they will have more control while you make the different arrangements work.
Very good. This is also very useful. At City, if we were in a classroom, okay, at City, give me a list of 5 students that you like to work with. Yeah, City, ya sabes, no, mi crush, mi BFF, my blah, 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 blah. So then, when you have a chance, have a City sit with her friends. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's a motivation. All right. Sitting arrangement. Read the first square. Anaí, ¿estás aquí?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, can you read the first square, please?
Learners are given a new perspective on the activity by sitting in a different part of the room.
Very good. Maybe Grace is used to sit in the front of the class and then the teacher moves her to the right. Just because of that movement, Grace will pay more attention to the teacher. It's out of the routine. Okay, continue reading. Grace.
They get better. No sé cómo se dice la siguiente palabra.
A ver, ¿cómo dices? Teacher, how do you say? No, cierto.
Okay.
Acquainted. Acquainted. Acquainted.
Acquainted. They get better acquainted with their peers.
You understand that word, acquainted?
Yeah, but I don't know the pronunciation. Like they get to know better.
They get to know person, yes. In fact, this word is used, for example, you have family, you have friends, and then you have acquaintances.
Okay, because I've read the word, but I never use it. So,
okay, yeah. So the verb is to get to know somebody. And
okay.
The noun is like a person that you know, but you're not familiar with it or friend with it.
Like conocidos.
Yes, it's just acquaintance. Okay, very good. Continue reading, Mariana.
Students are not consistently punished by being at greater distances from the screen or speakers.
Very good. The ones that sits in the back, ¿no? ¿Qué dijo, Miss? ¿Cómo puede repetir, Miss? Más grande, Miss, and so forth and so forth. I read the last one because it's difficult to see. Small groups do not arise. They sometimes become a problem by forcing their own norms to the rest of the group. In other words, los grupitos, right? Then the small groups are not made. Okay. From this point, am I going too fast or it's okay?
No, it's okay.
Okay. From this point on, we will see the different configuration of the chairs. Okay. Let me see, where is the key? The X is the teacher and the O's are the students or the chairs of the students. Okay. All right. Traditional setting. And you see this, right? Teacher in front, students in front of him. Can you read this, the description, the 3 description? Please, Karen? Cindy, no, perdón. Cindy no has comentado. Cindy, please.
Do you want I read?
Yeah, Cindy is watching porn. Where it says traditional sitting, read best use
And option number 2.
Yeah, here. Let me see. Let me show you. Best use for
Traditional setting. Best used for short lectures to large groups.
continue.
Communication tends to be one way. Trainer cannot see the learners in the back.
Very good. So in other words, this is the traditional setting. Teacher here, the students here. Yes or no? Okay. Even in the I don't know if you can see it in the old schools. I mean, like old facilities, las primarias antiguas, no? The old primarias. You can see the classroom, and then it has a little platform. See? And then in the platform, they have the desk for the teacher. Yes or no?
Yes.
That was the old traditional way of teaching, and it means authority. It means the teacher is superior. All right? So we don't really use it for English teaching, no more, at least. It's bad for the students' learning. Let's talk about the different ways. Modified traditional, can you read it, Mariana?
Yes. Modified traditional. There is more participation, allows the trainer to see all the learners, reduces spaces between trainer and learners as trainer can move up aisle. Best used for short lectures to, I'm sorry?
No, continue.
Idle? Best used for short lectures through large groups.
So you can see it has an island in the middle, a corner or a hole. So he can walks and listen to them. One of my personal favorite one for English teacher is the horseshoe. Can you read it, Grace?
Non-verbally encourages participation by allowing eye contact between the trainer and all the learners. The trainer is able to move closer to each learner. Works well with when all learners must be able to see a demonstration. Works good when learners will be involved in a large group discussions.
Very good. Excellent. So this is one of my favorite ones. Everybody sees everybody, teacher sees everybody, same level, no authority wise, same authority. So it's pretty cool. Modular. Can you read it, Atsiri?
Modular. Learners can work in small groups on exercises and projects. Communication between trainer and learners is more difficult. Trainer must move between groups during lectures and activities. Good for courses that require a lot of group work.
So modular means group work. You have them work in a table or in a desk, and the teacher monitors, walks around the different desks of the teams. Also, this one is one of my favorite ones, the circle one. And with a good imagination, that is a circle, okay? It looks like a football ball, but it's a circle. Can you read it, Ivan?
Most democratic and uncovered with no status symbol. With no table, each person is totally revealed. Subtle non-verbal communications are possible. Good for T groups and sensitivity training. There will be conversation, shorter inputs, and more members will participate when they sit at a round table rather than at a square table.
Very good. This one is one of my favorite ones because it has no authority whatsoever. Everybody is equal. Actually, in psychology, when you sit inside the circle, next to the ones that next to your students, it means that a teacher is the same as a student. So therefore, students will feel more open to talk. That's pretty cool. A square, can you read it? Karen.
More square, more formally than a circle. Nobody can see all the faces of the other participants. Depending where visual airs are planted, one side might become a solid table seems to encourage conversation. With a hole in the middle on the table, some people don't speak at all, and some who just speak then to for longer periods of time.
Very good. So in a square, it's similar to circle, but the difference is that some of them will talk a lot and some others will not talk. Some will take the lead. Unlike the circle, everybody's the same. Okay. Rectangle. Can you read it, Chema?
The seats at the short dimensions of the table are often seen as leadership positions. If used, the learners should be forced to take distinctly different positions every now and then. For example, randomly shift the name cards. Fewer people can communicate face-to-face.
Very good. Excellent. And this one is cool, but what happens the ones that sit on the side? What do you think would happen? A la famosa cabecera. They tend to do what?
Take the lead.
Exactly. They will take the lead, speak more, command, and it might create some sort of conflicts, okay? The last one, I think is the last one, is scattershot. Scattershot in another book says mingling or mingle. You understand that verb, to mingle? No? When you go to a party, bueno, cuando podíamos ir a una party, you mingle. In other words, you socialize or you blend into the crowd. That's mingling. Everybody talks at the same time. Okay. Have you ever played in an English class, find someone who? Find someone who has a dog. Find someone who has a car. And everybody stays up and everybody talks to the same, everybody talks at the same time to everybody. That is mingling. Okay. Can you read it? Azucena.
Sure. Scattershot seems extremely haphazard, but good for experiential training. Permits quick change of learners' focus. Produces tremendous investments of learner energy. Works well with multiple role plays. Can quickly form into large groups, but for note taking. So it's a mess.
It's a mess, pretty much. Thank you, Susana, for adding that. It's a mess. It's good for conversation activities. It's good for find someone who. It's good for everybody stand up and talk. I don't know. It's good for that, but it's bad for note taking. Very good. Now, let me show you here. This is, let me share it. Can you see it? Yes, okay. This is the checklist for the classroom. And is the ideal classroom, the utopic classroom. So when we go back to the classrooms, try to have at least most of the points checked. All right. For example, the door, can you read it, at City?
Clearly marked. Envelope, pad, pencil for message. Space inside for lining up.
Lining up.
Lining up.
Lining up, o sea, en filita. Very good. What about walls? Mariana.
Walls. Display at students' eye level. Displays offer classroom information, instruction, and entertainment. Display students' work at an art. Schedule posts keep current and in blocks of time. I'm sorry, mis sobrinos. They are screaming. I'm sorry. Schedule posts keep current and in blocks of time that do not exceed 3 minutes. Broken or manufacturing outlets have been reported. Chipped or blemished walls have been reported. Some open space is available.
Very good. Furniture, Giovanni.
Furniture. Each student's desk is of a great size. Each child has his or her own assigned seat. Each student desk is organized for easy access to materials. Each student has a kid space. Desks are arranged so each child can see and participate in seat work. Desks are arranged so that each student can observe the teacher presentations and the chalkboard. There is a quiet or timeout area. There are study carrels, offices, or dividers for distractions-free space.
Thank you very much. Equipment and materials, Claudia.
Materials and equipment are stored in a logical order and place. Materials and equipment are readily available. Inventory sheets is maintained for all materials. Materials and supplies can be stored behind closed doors. Locked storage is available. Materials and supplies are stored close to area of use.
Very good. Student records, can you read it? Karen.
Yeah. Student records are kept in convenient place. Students' records are ordinary.
Very good. Comfort, Grace.
Temperature control is adequate. Lighting is adequate.
Very good. So, again, this is the ideal classroom. You know, if you are the owner of the school, well, try to make it the much as you can. If you work for a school, well, then I'm sorry, it's not in your hands. But try to do it the best as you can, okay? And now I'm going to be showing you homework. Ay, wait, no, este no es. Here. Let me share. Okay, so this is the configuration of a classroom. You can see the materials table, teacher chair, teacher desk. These are the students' desks, the door, the bookcase, etc. But these have this configuration have some mistakes. So I want you to complete this for homework. List of all the problems you can find with Zelda's classroom. What instructional activities, if any, will this classroom arrangement support? For example, boot cakes, aquí está. ¿Sale? ¿Ya lo vieron? 3 squares are desks. This is a problem. Why? Can you listen to me? Can you listen to me?
Positive.
Okay,
Yes,
just-
yes. No,
This.
a little bit stuck.
Okay, can now listen to me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
desks,
No, no.
student desk. This is a problem.
Hola.
Hello, hello. Can you listen to me now?
Yes.
Yes.
See, these desks bad configuration because they are identical wrong with the configuration. Now is better, my connection.
Go ahead, teacher.
You listen to,
Yes, teacher.
I'm sorry. My connection is really, really bad. Atsiri, can you listen to me?
Right now, yes.
No.
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 Can you listen out to me?
Yes, teacher. Try to
Yes.
speak a little longer.
All right, okay, all right. My connection, I don't know what happened. It just break down. So I'm going to be. So I'm going to show,